I definitely think hitting the streets and showing up with other people is a way to show solidarity together, but also to be a force in the media. Because the media, it's a big deal when people are shutting down roads, right? So you're disrupting society so that other people have to pay attention. And that's why people are outside. That's why riots are happening. It's not so that because people are just like wanting to destroy things. They're trying to get people's attention. And also, another thing about riots is that a lot of them are not Ferguson communities. There are people from outside who are ruining the neighborhoods, which is like a separate thing. But yeah, I'm definitely up for taking to the streets. I think it's a way to get the people around in the community to pay attention and be like, oh wait, what's that? But it's also a way to show solidarity. And it riles people up. It makes people go like, yeah, this is an important issue. And sometimes you need a little chanting to do that. There's a place for students, even when we aren't directly affected. Like, I'm sure a lot of students, when they go home, they are. And that's what I heard a lot of stories in the Claremont March, where a few people spoke about their own stories. I'm not sure if you went to that. But that was the most important part when people talked about how they do feel isolated in this Claremont bubble because nobody else has had those experiences and nobody else recognizes them. So back to your question, which was?
The fact that so much of the student body is passionate about these issues, but often many of them can't relate personally based on they haven't had personal experiences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think if you want to make change but you don't know enough about it, just listen. Like, talk to people and listen to people. And since we're students, we have the ability to learn and talk to people and then talk to other people about that and talk to other people and spread the word. But I don't think you don't have to be the leader every time. This is, from what I've experienced, this is definitely a systemic issue. Why would there be a difference between the charges of a black police officer killing a white man or a white police officer killing a black man if it wasn't instilled in our system, these injustices of oppressing those and extracting resources from people of color, just as we have throughout history. We are still a very racist country. We don't live in a post-racial America. I don't know if we ever will, but we can try. The issue with all of these incidents is not that a person has died. It's that there has been no accountability in the first place because the lives of these people don't matter. And that's why everyone's been saying Black Lives Matter in all of the marches and all of everyone's writings. The internet, blogs, it's been one of the biggest pros of this whole discussion is that people can all share their opinions. But one of the problems is, I don't know if you've heard All Lives Matter yet, but that's not the problem. It's not All Lives Matter. That's a whole different question. Right now we're talking about Black Lives Matter because they are the ones who are being subjected to this injustice. And so we can talk about All Lives Matter later once everyone is on equal footing, but we aren't right now. For Michael Brown and Darren Wilson, I was definitely not surprised. I was like, of course, everyone knew weeks ahead of time. That's why they would bring in the National Guard, so that they could use police brutality again to stop protesters, which is just feeding the system and is obviously not a fair thing to do, but that's what our government has decided. And for the second one, Gardner case, I was shocked because the video is so obviously, like, you can see the video online, and they have a lot of proof. They have so much proof about the police officer's guilt, and like, it shocked me. I was like, how could you ever not indict someone who instigated something like that? Police officers, when they have the badge, we're all like, yes, okay, you must be doing the right thing because your superiors told you to, and our superiors must be doing the right thing. But nobody ever questions who is getting the rewards in every situation. Why is a police officer's life more important than any other person's life? And so that's why a police officer, when they have a gun, whenever they feel threatened, they are allowed to shoot, because their life is more important than whoever they're shooting. But it shouldn't be, because they grew up in a system where their type, most of them are white males, are given privilege, so throughout their life they are told they deserve their power, and that when the time comes between them and a person of color's life, unconsciously, I believe that it's drilled into them to value those of their own people. I wasn't saying body cameras, but obviously that's not going to help because we have footage of both these incidents and it didn't do anything. So this is kind of radical, but if the police are going against the people who they're supposed to serve and protect, then why do we have police at all? Who are the police serving? So personally, I would just localize, take away the power of the huge governmental police force, and have, this is radical, and have local police deal with local issues, and everyone has to be conscious of their privilege, everyone. And everyone has to know that when they have a gun, they cannot just shoot when they feel threatened. You cannot do that. I also would demilitarize. I would not allow police to have guns just walking around the streets. There are so many other ways to detain people other than killing them, especially when you're in the moment. You don't see the whole picture, even if you feel threatened.